Good afternoon and welcome to NYFP. In midday trade and midweek trade, we are seeing the equity averages trade near flat. Joining me today is Greg Keating of James E. Coffey Securities. Greg, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, good to be here.
Well, we're here ahead of the 4th of July holiday, and it is a holiday shortened session today, so markets will be closing at 1 p.m. But we have a lot of jitters overseas, and we did get some better than expected jobs reports. So what can we expect to see heading into Friday's trading session?
Yeah, I think that's what we saw this morning on the train ride in this morning. I thought the market was going to take a real hit with with a bunch of global concerns out there, and then we got some domestic data here that really turned it around. We're trading a little bit lower right now, but the market's been definitely resilient. We feel like there's not much volume, obviously, because we're going to be closing at 1 o'clock today. But right now, I think, based on the ADP employment report, I think we're right in line to get a number right that 165, what everyone's projecting for the job number this Friday, and a little bit of improvement in the unemployment number.
And of course, that jobs report, which will be coming out on Friday morning, is important because we'll be watching it and the Fed will also be watching it. So what do you expect to see from the Fed in the upcoming meeting?
Well, I mean, so much is important. I mean, obviously the unemployment number, because the Fed is basing a lot of its decisions on that. So everyone's going to be tied into that. And then also, you'd like to see going ahead, you get the start of earnings next week. So a lot of, but it seems like the Fed speak dominates, right? So everyone's going to be, how is that number going to be construed? Is it if it's too good of a number, will that mean that the Fed is going to speed up its plans? So it is kind of it's tough to figure out right now. But right now, if we get an inline number, I think you're going to see the market react well, just because it's not too good, but it's just good enough where the Fed can continue its policy and continue to support this market.
And of course, we'll be watching that jobs number when it comes out on Friday. But given that we've been seeing a mixed economic data releases out from the Eurozone as well as China this week, have you changed your outlook in terms of the global countries?
Yeah, I think it's, we're seeing a lot more, like news come up. We heard from Greece, in the last couple of days. It seems like we haven't heard from them in a while. Portugal, obviously, onto the scene. And then with the protests in Egypt, we see oil coming above $100 for the first time in 14 months or so. So that's concerning, right? Because that, it goes back to the consumer. With $100 barrel oil, how is that going to affect the consumer pockets? We've seen consumer confidence at near highs. Is that going to start reining in the consumer's thought on the market? So you're obviously keeping an eye on that.
Well, thank you so much for your insight today, and have a great 4th of July holiday.
Thanks, you too.